Group 1, and we would like to present our understanding about the use of visual disruption in MS Glow advertisement format. First, I'm gonna talk about the background problem. Well, usually, social media shapes how we view ideals like masculinity that often showing men with fair skin, athletic bodies, and symmetrical faces that look perfect, especially in skincare ads. But MS Glow for Men takes a different approach by using comedians like Bebe Chabita and Marshall Widianto who break away from these typical standards as their models. This makes the brand feel more relatable and inclusive, and it also creates a stronger connection with their audience.
So the next topic is about solution proposed by author. MS Glow for Men uses visual disruption, Clifford Christensen, by featuring two popular comedians who feel relatable to the audience. This strategy builds emotional bond with the brands, promotes a more realistic form of masculinity, and shows inclusivity for different types of men.
And then there's process of research. For the approach, they use qualitative interpretative with contrast paradigm. This study examines how advertisement use visuals to represent gender roles and shifting social norms, focusing on how the MS Glow for Men campaign shape ideas of what masculinity is in contemporary media. The method they use CDA, or Critical Discourse Analysis, by Norman Fairclough, which has 3 levels of analysis. The first one is visual text level, which is where they examine visual elements such as colors, symbols, costumes, body gesture, facial expressions, and text narratives. And then there's the second one, discursive practice, studying how advertisement is produced, distributed, and interpreted. And then the third one, cultural practice. This is linking to advertisement to wider social and cultural issues. And then there's textual analysis. This is where expression, colors, costumes, slogans, and other visual elements are broken down to interpret the message or ideas being communicated. Basically, what are they from the visual itself? It has a meaning and it has an effect. Making sure it has an effect to the audience itself. And there's data sources. They use 2 types of data sources. There's primary data and secondary data. The first one, primary data, is where they, in MS Glow for Men advertisement materials on YouTube and Instagram, they examine MS Glow for Men advertisement on those 2 social medias to see, to examine how people interpret it and how it affects people, or how the audience react to it. And then there's secondary data. It's literature studies, basically, where they examine and understand through these literatures, which is representation theory by Hall in 1997, and there's critical discourse analysis by Fairclough in 1993 and 2010, and there's advertising visual semiotics, Ivory et al. At 2023, and creative brain searches by Alia 2023. So basically, there's a recent one, and there's the oldest one. The last one is techniques. There's 3 techniques that we use. There's visual observation, secondary document analysis, and data triangulation. For visual observation, they analyze the end visual to interpret meanings. So basically, what's the meaning of each visual? What they're trying to voice out, what they're trying to shout at, And then there's secondary document analysis, using studies, articles, and literature to support and compare findings. So making sure everything is valid, the reason is there. And then there's data triangulation, combining different data sources to strengthen the validity. So not just one time finding out the meaning, but there's second one, the data triangulation, which is, to strengthen the validity, trying to make sure that everything is valid and has a meaning.
The next one, there's technique. First, there's a visual observation, analyzing the ad's visual to interpret the meaning. And then, there's secondary document analysis, using studies, article, or literature to support the compare findings. And then, there's data triangulation, combining different data sources to strengthen the validity. So, the conclusion, Miss Glow for Men has done such an amazing innovation by boldly broke skincare ads norms. The strategy itself has expanded the market. The strength of the brand awareness and redefining masculinity with a more inclusive narrative.